Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for The Game in Flames, a Burning Wheel podcast where myself, Scotty Batstone, your Flame Master, will be playing here with my two brothers and currently two friends. Hopefully 3 at some point. So unfortunately, one of us had to not dealing with some issues, so couldn't make it today. So thanks for joining us. I do want to let you know that this podcast is for mature audiences only, but will probably also be for audiences that would like to think that they're mature. So thank you for tuning in, and let's talk about our session 0. Initially, we just met up, did some basic character creation, and did a little bit of role-playing. But before we get into that, let's go around and introduce ourselves, our characters, our life paths, and any other pertinent information you would like. We chose to go with the 3 life path option for those of you that are familiar with Burning Wheel. So let's start at the top of the age bracket. Ian Batstone, would you like to go?
You guys hear me okay?
You are quite quiet.
Okay. I'm going to stop you right there, Ian. We're going to move on, troubleshoot your audio, and we'll get back to you, because it's not working. Chris, what do you got for me?
Sign off and then sign back in.
Yeah, bye. Chris, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Galvian Millerson, and what else? What else are we saying right now?
Your life path.
My life path. I was a villager. Became a pilgrim and thus moved into the city. And once I moved into the city, I forsook my religion and became a criminal.
Good religion. Very cool. You are a human man, right?
I am a human.
Very cool. And you are how old?
I am 18 years old.
Hoo-hoo. Single and ready to
fresh
mingle.
And full of life, and looking to improve my station in life, as I don't believe that I am destined to be lower class.
Beautiful. John, what do you got for me?
All right, so I will be playing a character named Tom Smallsword, and in the the details.
That's what she said.
Thank you.
The details are subject to change as I learn more about how all these mechanics work and what things I probably filled in wrong. But so in order to get to Performer, the character burner actually had me pick 4 life paths. So it went from, where is it? Born Peasant, Peasant Pilgrim, Itinerant Performer, and then Performer.
I was aware of that. So you did your own research that the only way to get there was through Itinerant?
Yeah, it was basically the same thing, but it interjected a small Itinerant Performer, which I think was only like a couple of years, but it moved me from like a 17-year-old to a 20-year-old.
Okay. I'm hoping you are not including the resources, stats, skills, all that from that life path. Is that cool if or did you include those?
I included what it gave me on the character burner sheet, but we can refine that if we want.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel like it gives you a potentially unfair advantage that you have 4 life paths and not 3, but we can work that out later.
Okay.
Cool. So, peasant pilgrim moved to the city through a lead, and then became a itinerant performer.
Yeah. So basically, I interned under another performer and then became a performer.
All right, cool.
Actually, that's not what itinerant means. Itinerant means that you moved around.
Oh, I mean that thing. That's the thing that I did.
Yeah, itinerant is what my theater company was when I lived in Long Beach. We performed at a different space every time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Solid career plug there, Chris. Thank you.
Good to know.
Yeah. So itinerant. We'll work that out. But
okay,
anyway.
Yeah, we'll work out the details. But basic life story, started out really poor, figured out if I made people laugh, then they don't hit me and instead give me money. And so I went with that as hard as I could.
I like it. Your age?
Well, so for right now, with those life paths, that would put me at 20. We can refine that depending on if we take out that middle life path and go a different way or something like that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Smallsword. Colin?
Thank you.
Hello. I'm playing a dwarf named Gjordrin. I was born into the nobility, and that was boring as all hell. So my cousin Gorm introduced me to a small circle of dwarves that liked to get up to no good and gamble. So after taking the ardent life path growing up, being just sort of a member of court, doing all the things that I was expected to do, I decided that was not for me and became a gambler. At which point I got into a little bit of trouble and ended up being kicked out of the dwarven halls. So I'm now on my way to use my prowess as a gambler and spreader of falsehoods to make a good life for myself.
Nice. And how old is this gentleman?
He's gonna be 54.
Very cool. I like it. Ian, how you doing?
All right. How can you hear me now?
Much better.
Okay. So, my name's Gawain Carnarvon. I'm an elf, a wilder elf, and don't laugh. And I'm 86 years old. Definitely the oldest here, I think.
But young as...
Yeah, as an elf, you're basically 5.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like maybe 20 in elf years or something. I don't know.
Elf ears.
So I was a wilder elf and then became a huntsman and then a bowyer. So I'm good with the bow and also knife skills and stuff like that. My beliefs and stuff, like I'm seeking to prove myself to my family and redeem past failures. I'm loyal to friends, family / group, and I'm fighting injustice like the man.
Nice. Social justice.
I don't necessarily like the elven nobility issues.
You're the SJW elf, and he is the elf supremacist, so it's gonna go great. So awesome. I am now gonna kind of summarize our last session because we did do a little bit of role playing at the end, and I'll also introduce the setting for you. So here goes. So as we look out from atop the great walls of Bergamot, the place where we find ourselves at the beginning of this adventure, Bergamot being a city within the province of Bobengar and within the country of Eldúr, we see mostly darkness and illuminated across the waters out to the west. We see a dense fog highlighted from the light from 2 moons up above in the sky. Slowly, wisps of sunlight make their way over the horizon, as the sun rises in the west to bring light to the world. Despite this very peaceful and serene setting, we are drawn our attention to the docks of Bergamot, which are buzzing. They are alive. People are getting ready for the day, setting up their fish mongering and their selling of wares and preparing their nets and all of the things that occur on docks, and also prepping for a massive voyage that is about to occur. There is a huge, gargantuan ship in the dock, a massive cargo and passenger vessel, medieval houseboat, if you will, or cruise ship, so to speak. It is named the Devious Deep. And so aboard that vessel, we do see a very wiry, fit elf who is aboard the ship as a deckhand, boatswain's mate, what have you. He's busying himself about getting everything ready, coiling rope, and setting everything up for the day. As we go from the boat onto the dock itself, we do see a grand staircase that goes up to a large flat area upon which are many shops and wares dealers, blacksmiths, what have you, as well as a small little kind of residential neighborhood as well, perhaps from the people who cannot afford the high taxes to live within the walled city of Bergamot. So this flat area is pretty much right up against the huge walls, and Bergamot is surrounded surrounded by a massive wall. They're 100 feet tall. There's only one entrance in and out, which is a waterway with a massive portcullis. Is that how I pronounce that?
Portcullis, I think.
Yeah,
portcullis.
Portcullis.
That was a portcullis pronunciation. Come on.
Yeah. It's just portcullis.
Portcullis.
Thank you. That's why it sounded wrong.
Chris, our
GOT, right.
Our GOT expert has, thank you, portcullis. And so there's a massive waterway going through the portcullis, and the only way to get into the city is through this waterway, this barbed waterway, and you have to be on a vessel that carries the sigil of the ruling noble class there in the city. No other way. In and out, gotta be on the special boat. And also surrounding the massive wall is, you guessed it, a massive moat. And so at the entrance, we have looming walls that go up on either side and up to that flat area that I mentioned previously. We see the shadow of a body dropping off of that ledge and into the water below in front of the portcullis. As look up to where the body came from, and listen to the typing going on in the background.
Yeah, if someone's typing, could you mute yourself?
So thank you for stopping that. So as we look up to where the body came from, we see a dark, tall, dark, and handsome gentleman wearing newly acquired clothing of a noble fashion that he apparently stole from this unfortunate soul. And he also has a newly acquired ticket to the journey ahead on the Devious Deep, as well as some extra cash, so to speak, a bag of silver and copper pieces. He tosses it up in the air, walks to the nearest dumpster, and drops off his dusty old black cloak and traipses his way down to the seaside tavern to see if he can continue his streak of luck.
I just want to make sure that everybody heard that I was handsome.
Yeah, super handsome.
Okay.
He's dashing. He's just a dashing gent. He waltzes his way through the doors, and looks around and kind of gauges the surroundings. He sees potentially his next culprit in a gruff-looking, potentially jolly, jovial, yet cunning in nature, in his demeanor. A dwarf, sitting, playing some poker with a few others. And so this human criminal, now who is staged as a noble, decides to go over to this gentleman. And he says, "Well, hello there. Do you mind if I join you in a potential game of poker?" The dwarf says, "Oh, I'm always up for some fresh meat, so to speak. So you're more than welcome to join on in." And the criminal says, "Well, we shall see about that." So they sit down to a game of poker. And what happened here is we did not necessarily any specific proper game mechanics, but we just did a simple versus test based on Colin's dwarf character being a gambler. I gave him 8 dice, and then based on Chris's character, I gave him only 5. So Colin rolled first, and he rolled 4 successes, which is he rolled a 4 or above on those dice. The rest were a 3 or below. So Chris was then left with he needed to roll at least a 4 to tie, 5 essentially, and to win. And against crazy odds, I think Colin calculated 1 in 32 or something.
Yeah, it's about 3.5%.
He rolled all 5 dice successes, 5, 5, 6, 6, 4, some crap. So the dwarf, after a round of betting and the river coming out and some more betting, the criminal calls his bet, and the dwarf confidently puts down 2 cards holding the suit of hearts, which correspond with 3 hearts on the table, and says, "Read 'em and weep. I bet you can't beat that." And the criminal says, "Oh yeah, that's gonna be rough," but then reveals his 2 cards, which equated to a full house that he acquired upon the river. "Oh, you gotta be kidding me!"
I will say, one of my character traits is humility in the face of my betters, and I feel like this is a situation that, based on that, I would have handled more gracefully.
Ah, okay. So he says, "Oh, well, would you look at that? Not bad there, mate. Dude, that was...
I love it.
Very, very well played. I am impressed, but unfortunately I will have to limit the amount of ale that I imbibe on this trip to Kolesko. If I didn't mention before, we are going to Kolesko, a distant land to the west of Eldúr. And Chris's character, I'm not, I could look up the name, but I'm just going to call him Criminal for now. Chris's character, the criminal...
Galvian.
Yes, Galvian.
Criminal Chris.
Galvian.
And I feel like I've made a friend today.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, certainly gained my respect.
Absolutely. And so Galvian says,
better at gambler.
Exactly. So Galvian says, "Oh, so you're heading on to the boat as well?" Aye, that's right. And he says, "Well, how about you join me down to the docks, and perhaps we could grab an ale. How about it's on me?" "Oh, well, you shouldn't have. All right, let's do it." And so they head down to the docks and prepare to get onto the vessel. They pass by a young, lanky-looking gentleman of the human nature, and he is right near the entrance to the gangplank, and he's tossing some rings up in the air, and doing some goofy moves and dances while he does it, and trying to put a show on for all of these potentially wealthy people getting on this boat, so as he can gain some financial advances. So he's got a little bag out in front of him, opened up, and hoping to gather some coins. And all of a sudden, a gentleman in a brown cloak comes down the gangway and shouts at him, "Oi! What you doing? Stop pussyfooting around! Get on the frickin' boat!" And Ted Smallsword turns and realizes that this gentleman believes that he is the hired entertainment for this boat, and decides to just go along with it. So he says, "Oh yeah, all right. I'll be right there." And he grabs up his things and follows this burly gentleman to his quarters upon the boat, where the hired help are staying. A very minuscule, about 3x5 room with a hammock. And then up to the quarterdeck, we see a very tall and domineering, yet pasty, pallid looking elf who's in a conversation with the captain of the vessel, being Captain Galveston, a young goblin. No, sorry, not young at all. He's actually quite old, as old as they come. Average lifespan of a goblin +2. He's been through the ringer, but he worked his way up from a simple servant to a noble family, to then becoming a sailor, and then becoming over the years one of the most renowned captains of the seas. And this kind of annoying, pretentious elf is talking to him and saying, "Well, back in my land, where I grew up in the Ethark, I learned many a different skill, such as riding and swordplay and aqueous or ocean navigation, if you will, was definitely one of the things that we learned. I would love to be so inclined, as you may, to steer the vessel at some point, and I could showcase my talents for you a little bit."
"Oh well, sir, much respect. I'm sure you're very, very talented at that, and I'm looking. I'm not sure it's the best idea. You know, I gotta keep the ship heading. You know, I know you do a great job, but
Oh, you have nothing to worry about. I am very skilled in this area. Just point me in the direction, and I shall take us there. And this was Jay's character, who unfortunately is not with us today, being the person IRL, not the character. But he rolled a will test. I believe he had a 5, a B5 will, or 6. And it was about an OB4, which is an obstacle that he has to roll, that many successes, with his 5 to 6 dice. And he succeeded. So lots of lucky rollers right off the bat.
Except for Colin.
Yeah. Except for Colin. And so right off the bat, so he will get to steer the vessel at some point. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that covers everyone. Y'all is on the boat. So that's where we find ourselves. You guys are welcome to do as you please and explore the space, explore your character, and have some fun. And I will be here to guide you and gently prod you along the way. So have at it.
All right. I guess I would Geordrin rather. I don't know. I don't know whether I want to use personal pronouns for my character. I haven't quite figured that out yet.
Personal.
Like I go do this, right? Or Geordrin does.
I think I would say I go do this.
Yeah. You are embodying the character.
Sure. All right. So I would want to walk around the decks. Actually, one of my instincts is when I enter a new space, I look for exits. So I'd like to figure out, basically on the way to my room, are there any ways to get out or not room, lodging? It's an old ship. I'm guessing I just have like a bunk or something. What's sort of the structure as I go along? Is there more than just the one staircase below decks, or what's going on?
Yeah, I would ask, you said you were born noble. Are you still within that financial and positional status in that you would potentially have a nicer quarters?
I think mechanics wise that would be like a resources thing.
Yeah.
Or I could maybe argue that I pulled some strings with Elmer, the first mate.
Yeah, explain your relationship with Elmer.
Okay, so one of the cool things in this game system is that on character creation, you spend some of your resource points to form relationships. So I have a friendly relationship with Elmer, the first mate of the ship. We met gambling while the ship was docked in Eldúr, and we struck up a little bit of a friendship. I've sort of taken him under my wing as a bit of an apprentice gambler, and he's helped me out a little bit by tipping me off to this voyage and helping secure passage.
Very cool. I like the sauce. So I would say he'd probably get you a halfway decent spot, at least on the second deck, second from the top. You've probably got maybe about let's say 30 square feet of a room, a feather bed and things. So on your way up toward your quarters now, you are with Galvian, I believe. So I believe you guys are chatting. Galvian,
We walked on to the boat together. Yeah.
Yeah.
so
And
what does your ticket say, Galvian?
So because I killed a nobleman to get my ticket, his ticket is in some pretty nice quarters. I would imagine. You tell me. And that's where I get into the, is it backstory or do I have to spend resource points? Because my backstory being that I killed a nobleman to get his ticket, to me, means that I'm automatically, I have I have a cabin, a single cabin to myself.
Yeah, I will abide by resources as regularly and as much as possible. But because we're starting things off and because you created a cool little story, I will reward that with some nice quarters. Do you want to be on the top deck, the posh space, or would you like to be on the second deck with your friend?
Yeah, I don't think I'm full on top. I don't think I'm top deck worthy.
Okay, so you guys,
I have a little bit of money, but I think that's it.
Okay, so have a conversation, the two of you.
Sure. So you're on the second deck as well.
Oh, you're on the second deck as well. Yeah, very nice.
That sure does seem to make two of us if my arithmetic doesn't fail me.
Two inveterate gamblers such as ourselves.
Right.
Very nice.
Now, I'll have you know that your move, while bold in our game, may not have been wise.
Why is that?
Assuming you were playing a straight game, which of course I would assume.
Of course.
You would only win about 3 in 100 hands like that.
Let's just say I was blessed by the god of luck.
I like it. So
I've found that personal intervention is a little more reliable than divine intervention.
Well, Gjordran, your hand isn't easy to come by either.
Fair enough.
Let's just say that was a quite an incredible hand, and I'm sorry that it went my way.
It's almost as though there is some sort of divine intervention into the outcome of that hand. All right, so the two of you, and I do want to ask you, since you guys sort of broached the topic of religion, do either of you ascribe to any sort of religion, or is your religiosity in yourselves?
I believe in the gods. I was brought up under the teachings of Athula. However, I have since moved on and made my own path and decided that I take the teachings of Athula and I apply them separately unto myself.
I'm not extremely knowledgeable personally with god lore. Athula is the god of?
Athula is the one god.
Ah, you were a monotheist.
Yes.
Ah, okay. Very cool. And so you.
Well, no, I was a monotheist.
Was, yeah.
So now you're kind of agnostic or potentially atheistic?
I am searching.
Gotcha. Beautiful. Mr. What's your name?
Gjordran. Yeah, it's fine. Well, 10 episodes in, we'll get there, right?
Yeah, I'll get there.
I have not given much thought to it as somebody who has studied as much probability as was available in the Dwarven halls and found it to be relatively reliable. I've found that much of the behavior that my peers ascribed to the gods was easily explainable in other ways, but it also wasn't important to me to figure out what sort of god was, or gods were pulling the strings, as long as I could, figure out what was going to happen in my life.
Okay, I like it. So
agnostic.
Agnostic, yeah.
You guys have so much in common. This is beautiful. This is in the words of Casablanca. I don't know the exact quote. What's the last quote of Casablanca? Chris, can you help me out? This will be a long friendship or something like that.
It's the beginning of a beautiful friendship. No.
Yeah. So the two of you are slowly traipsing your way toward your quarters, whilst both being very aware of your surroundings and gauging the people and the settings. Georgian, you do notice that there are some exits, so to speak. There are multiple life rafts, or boats, more like, given that inflation of rubber was and plastic was probably not a thing. So
yeah, lifeboats.
Yeah, lifeboats attached by ropes to all along the sides of this massive vessel. Equating to easily like 30 to 50 lifeboats. And you also see the gangplank from whence you just came, which will be obviously retracted into the vessel, but there is a opening in the railing around the edge of the ship there. And you also, look up to the mast and you see, some rope ladders, to which, if you needed to get away, you kind of scramble up, and, of course, some ropes coming down from that if you wanted to do like a epic Rey Mysterio, jump down into the octagon.
Oh yeah.
So there you go. You guys head up to your quarters, and that's Mr. Ted. It was Ted, right? Ted Smallsword?
Yeah, let's go with that.
What's your name? Tell me your name.
I'm looking at the Discord.
Yeah, Ted. Although I think it was Ted the first time, and then I changed it to Tom because I actually forgot which one I had decided on, and I was torn between the two. But let's go with Ted because I think that's more fun.
All right.
I like Ted. Also, I like that the character is going, "Oh, you think I'm the entertainment? Sure." And the player is going, "Oh, you think I'm Ted? Sure."
Scotty, while the dwarf and elf are distracted in conversation, patting each other's back about their gambling victories and prowess and all that,
Not an elf.
While the dwarf and human are patting each other's back, how do I go about pickpocketing people who are distracted in conversation? Because they look rich, and I am currently on a boat that I did not prepare for. So I would like a little bit of cash.
Yes, that would be your agility. That would be an agility test.
Okay. I also have a sleight of hand skill, if that helps.
That does help. I believe you could use that as a fork, which is a field of related knowledge, to add a die. At least that's what I'm going to do. What is your agility exponent?
Okay.
So I'm checking to see if we've got pickpocket as an actual skill, and I don't think that exists. Okay. I think sleight of hand.
John, you looked at the skill list and you acquired it, did you not?
Sleight of hand is a 3. I don't think pickpocket, or I
right,
don't
have
pickpocket.
In the description it says sleight of hand is, it allows the characters to surreptitiously place or remove objects from another person.
Okay. So you have a B3 under sleight of hand, under your skill list, correct, John?
Yes. Yeah.
And then your agility?
Where is agility?
So I think
that's your stat.
Well, I think he would just use his sleight of hand skill.
My agility's a B5.
Okay. Colin, you think we just do a roll?
So it suggests for pickpocketing, sleight of hand versus observation.
Yes.
So he would just roll however many dice he's got plus however many bonuses he argues for, and we would do the same.
Right. So we have the of ob. So the obstacle of observation being these two gentlemen who just give me what is, I'm just going to base this off of your perception. I will create an obstacle for him. What is your perception, gentlemen?
Well, we're supposed to roll against his roll, just like when we did the versus test before. We're supposed to roll our observation versus his sleight of hand.
Yeah. Yeah, and who's he going for? Is he going for
which one of you looks richer?
Geordrin, or is he going for Galvian?
I think Galvian probably looks richer because he just robbed a noble.
I am wearing some fine ass clothes.
Yeah, I will.
Looking fresh as fuck.
I will pick those pockets.
But dwarves are slower.
Yeah. So he already decided he's going to pick the pocket of Galvian. Galvian, what applicable skill do you have?
So first off, my agility is 6.
Not applicable.
Not applicable. All right.
But I mean, that's good enough. You just want to I don't know if you're bragging a little bit.
I mean, if you want to quickly slap his hand away, that would be agility. But right now, you just need to observe.
All right. So
observation, then you would be using your perception, but untrained, so it'd be halved.
Yeah, my perception's 4, so it's not that great.
So I will tout myself in saying that I acquired my very good friend Colin here, who is graciously more versed in the rules, and I am A-okay with that. Hopefully, I will get on his level at some point. But thank you for your truly.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Thank you for your.
We'll all be learning.
All right. Well, so I do have a streetwise skill of 2. Does that help?
I think that would be an appropriate fork. You could argue for that.
Yeah, because
although with your guys' explanation, it's actually not 2. It's actually 4.
Yeah, but streetwise is more, you say to the FM, I have streetwise, so what do I know about this alleyway? Kind of a thing. That's what the wises are, to my understanding. Okay. It gives you a calling card to gain extra knowledge that might not normally be there for you. So
okay, right. Well, all right. Well, then I'm willing to let it go, even though I haven't fully filled in all of my stuff. But that's on me.
I just need your perception divided by 2.
So then it would be 2.
Okay. So 2 versus your sleight of hand, John, which was 3?
Yep.
All right. Roll away. John, we will first have you roll to pick L pocket.
Okay.
So we're using a dice rolling app, so to speak. We will not tell you which one that is because they're not paying us.
All right, so I will start with 3d6. And 0 successes. And
I think I have a skill that hasn't been is not measurable.
I think you won't need it.
and he does not observe it. So
okay, what, Chris? Your skill? What?
No,
You wanted a fork to add a die? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
Field of related knowledge that would help your roll. So you only get 2 dice, but if you can persuade me that you have a skill to advance it. Is that what you were getting at right now?
No. What I was getting at is the fact that everybody who rolls against me does terribly.
That is a skill set that is going to play well for you.
Yeah.
Yes. So based on this roll, I can deduce that both John failed at picking anything. So Ted kind of saunters up behind this guy and like reaches to it.
The way I'm picturing this is basically,
John, I'll go.
Okay, so you go. That's cool.
So you saunter up behind this guy, and you reach into his cloak real quickly and subtly, yet you don't feel anything. You didn't grab anything. But lucky for you, this guy did not even notice. He was having this jolly jovial conversation with his buddy, kept going, but you suck at it. So
I felt a little tickle. I think I scratched myself.
Yeah. So
with that really good agility.
Yeah.
So he's good at picking pockets, but not picking the pockets to pick.
Yeah.
Not picking the right pocket.
With Galvian's perception, 2 failures, and John's 3 failures. You guys just suck at both your jobs. So we carry on. Ted Smallsword, would you like to do anything else?
I mean, I'm probably if I like pulled out, just pocket lint from one side, or I was gonna say the way I pictured it is like I get his wallet, but he's already cleaned it out because it's the clothing that he stole from the nobleman. So I basically just picked an empty wallet. That
did not happen. So what do you want to do?
If I'm coming up empty, I'm gonna try and pick the other nobleman right next to him, or the other rich looking guy.
Double down,
right.
Ted.
Yeah. Nothing bad has happened yet, so
Yordrin, give me your perception divided by 2.
I actually do have the skill observation.
Okay.
And I would argue that my sleight of hand is a fork that I could use to add a die, because I am also quite skilled in the ways of fast and nimble hands.
Okay.
So I would know what I was looking for and feeling for.
I would. The only thing is that you're not acting on that. Like, you're not actually using your sleight of hand, and sleight of hand is not a form of perception or observation. It's simply you doing that act. So
right, but I know what I'm looking for because I know how to do it. So like, it's easier for me to go, oh, I've been brushed on the side, or like, if this person bumped into me, then I would know from the way they bumped into me, or whatever they did.
All right. It's a stretch, but I'll give it to you. So is that would be a fork, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay. And last time we rolled half perception, but are you saying that we are rolling your observation skill instead?
Yes, which is not wholly different because my observation is B2.
May I offer an opinion, or do you want to? So sleight of hand seems to me, and hey, Gjordrin, you and I were buddies. I'm not coming for you. But sleight of hand seems like an active skill, and when you're being pickpocketed, you need to work on your passive skills. Does that make any sense?
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Chris in that. But I told you it was a stretch, but that because you're familiar in doing it, that what you were saying, because you're familiar in pickpocketing, you would kind of
know what's up.
Know what it feels like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got it.
So I agree with Chris, yet because we're starting off and we're just kind of, navigating the space, and this is not a end-all be-all, I'm going to let you do it.
Yeah. Question.
Okay.
So if you have sleight of hand and observation, so are you allowed to use multiple skill sets to kind of like bolster your rolls?
Yes, so that's what forks are, is basically you're saying that your related skills are helping you, and for each skill that you have that you can argue you are using to help, you get an additional die.
Okay.
So I'm saying that with my observation, like I am using observation and I am forking my sleight of hand because I'm trying to observe a sleight of hand.
Cool.
I would like to propose forking inconspicuous.
Is inconspicuous a skill?
Yes.
Yes, it is. I have that as well.
I have a B3 inconspicuous.
So
That sounds
here's the
good to me.
thing, John. I will.
But I don't really know how forking works, so I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay. So I will give you the inconspicuous. But here's the thing. The great, beautiful thing about the burning wheel is a rule. This is my favorite thing because past tabletop role-playing games I have played, I was very frustrated with some... I don't like perception checks. Let's just put it that way. Doing a perception check, and then you go into another room and you're like, okay, I do a perception check. Okay, next room, I do a perception. It's like, okay, yeah, all right, we decided what, let's not have to do this stupid roll every fucking time. So the great thing about Burning Wheel is it has a thing called Let It Ride, where once you roll for something, it sticks until the setting dramatically changes. So, sorry, John, you still have 3 failures, but you get to roll 1 more die.
All right.
To add on. And that's a success! So John has 1 success versus your...
my 3 dice.
Plus 1 fork.
Right. My 3 dice.
All right.
Roll them? Is that what that is?
I added 1 in, but I have not rolled them yet.
Oh, no. We already rolled your die.
No, I know. So the 5 is for my 1, right?
Yeah, that's your 1 success.
I got to add 1 in, and then we haven't rolled Collins yet.
Right.
Okay. Although the one I just added in as a 5. So
I see.
sure.
Okay, got it.
Gotcha,
So go ahead and roll his 3 dice. Oh! And Georgic fails across the board. 3,
right.
1.
No. Ted.
So we have Mr. Ted Smallsword, and he slips his hand into the human's cloak. Don't get nothing, but is remains inconspicuous. And then he's like, you know what? Let's try this little fucker over here. And slips his hand in and grabs a hold of a slightly small coin purse, yet it's got some jingle jangle to it. And what do you do, Ted?
Yeah, so if I can pull that out, I am going to slip that right into my pocket, and then because I am a cheeky little fellow, I'm going to start conversation with these gentlemen, and just...
So you're saying that you are both pulling out and slipping in?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna, put that somewhere secure and pretend that never happened. And then I'm gonna start in and just be like, hello, gentlemen. I am the entertainment on this vessel, and want to see how y'all fine gentlemen are doing. And if you need anything, just give a holler.
Entertainment? Like what kind of entertainment?
Oh, well, that hasn't all been finalized yet, but we'll be around for some little bit of music, a little bit of dancing, a little bit of a few games here and there.
Are you?
We'll see what the captain's looking for.
Do you play an instrument?
I play around a little bit, but I'm all right with a little bit of loot.
Little bit of loot.
We just concluded John is okay with a little loot.
Yeah.
Sure.
The looter.
The double entendre is not lost on me. But
It's not, but it is lost on your characters,
it
which I'm
absolutely.
loving.
Oh yeah. Georgian would like to chime in and say, "Oh, so you're a lute player? Are you gonna need a vocal accompaniment? I can fill a hole with sound. I'm sure the boat wouldn't be too hard to do, especially with a little ale in me. Grease up the throat, you know."
I'm pretty sure we could arrange that. We'd welcome a little bit of company in the entertainment side of things, I think.
Well, excellent. Sounds like a deal. And I extend a handshake.
I will shake his hand.
All right.
This is in the before times when handshakes are okay.
Yeah, right. The real fantasy that we're role playing here is that we can get within 6 feet of other people.
Yes. Ian, can you pronounce your name for me, please? Ian.
My name is Gawain.
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 The Green Knight.
Okay. Gawain Wade over here.
Gawain the Gawak-Wanson.
What you up to, son?
We have Gawain, Galvian, and Geordrin.
Geordrin.
Yeah,
they're all
thanks
hard
for that,
G's.
guys.
Yeah.
Freaking three G's.
Yeah.
That's right. Go the 3 G's, motherfucker.
You better get a pop shield in front of your mic. All these plosives are going to cause problems.
3 G's and a small sword.
Wow, that's a name for a gang right there.
Hey, that's, that's most people in the red light district.
So yeah, I'm just kind of watching everything. One of my characteristics is watchfulness, one of my traits. So I'm kind of observing everything and possibly even, I would like to be knowledgeable about what's going on. So like, I feel like I already kind of don't trust some people that are on the boat.
So you are observing things?
Yeah, I was thinking about trying to interfere and like catching John, pickpocketing, but I decided to keep it simple. So, but maybe I observed what happened.
Okay. Then, do you have a observation skill?
Skill. Yes.
Okay. This
It's
is
just 2.
This is obstacle 2. So you need 2 successes.
Okay.
To be able to witness this and
Okay, we'll do that.
log it in your cerebellum.
Nope.
Nope.
That'd be on 3s, man.
Close, but no cigar. So you're checking out Ted, and then all of a sudden you see this pelican swoop down and pick up a fish, and you're like, whoa, that was cool. All right, what would you like to do next?
So my perception is 5. Does that help that situation at all? I know we've already rolled, but in the future.
No, we're going off your observation skill. So
okay,
that's done.
I think it would be the same because if it was perception, it'd be half rounded down.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
So you're hanging out. You're doing deckhandy stuff, right?
Yeah.
So tell me how you got this job.
So one of my relationships is actually with a goblin general. So goblins actually attacked my village long ago, and I was captured by them and eventually trained by them partially. So I've gotten over some of my prejudices, although I still have some avenging or revenge motives lurking there. But it's kind of how I got the relationship with the goblin ship guy. What's his name? Captain. And so I'm kind of eager to please this captain, and seeking to get into his good graces and make sure everything on the ship works well and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Very cool. And so you were a wilder elf, so kind of a Lothlorien character.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And then you kind of went away from that to kind of seek yourself and the world, right?
Yeah, and my idea was that my village was attacked and my people were kind of scattered. So
rough.
Yeah.
Some drows unfortunately came in. Those are evil dark elves and attacked your village and displaced all of you. So you're trying to get by. So you're doing that. You're getting ready and all that fun stuff. And so the morning progresses and the vessel takes off. You what's your name again, dude?
Gawain.
Gawain, yeah, okay. So, sorry. So, Gawain, you toss off the ropes holding the ship and then the Elmer says, "Hoist the mainsail!" And, it billows with the wind, and as it does so, your hearts billow with excitement as your adventure begins. As you head out west along on your trip, the wind is in your favor, a eastern wind blowing you toward your ultimate destination. And for brevity, I'll kind of just tell you guys, you have a nice evening, and you gamblers get into some gambling a little bit. You have some ale, you sing some songs. Ted Smallsword busts out his lute, which he sucks at, because I don't think you have a great skill in that. Do you have a musical instrument?
I have 2 in musical instrument. I have a B2.
Ah, okay. Let's decide if you suck or not.
All right.
2 is the obstacle. Hey!
Boom!
All right, he doesn't suck that much.
Regular James Taylor over here.
So he's looting away, having a good time, and our dwarf is singing along. In my eyes, oh my dreams, you're in my eyes. You count, think, and singing away and having a great time. And you guys, you tell me real quickly. I don't want to get too much into it, but how drunk do you get?
I'm not going to get that drunk because it's all going to be on borrowed money after I find out that my cash has been stolen.
Oh.
So wait, I thought your money was stolen.
You turn to Galvian and say, "Oh, crap! Looks like I won't speak for. I shouldn't speak for you."
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out. So, I feel like as a character with the shrewd trait, I would feel like I didn't misplace my money, right? I'm a greedy dwarf. Like, there's no way that I just put it in the wrong spot. I'm always thinking about where my money is.
Yeah, and in this world, that's kind of a racial slur. People will be like, "Oh, you're being a dwarf about that." So,
ooh, okay, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. But yeah, so as soon as I find out that my coin purse is missing, I suspect that it is someone, and I'm probably not 100% convinced it's not
Galvian.
not Galvian, but I wouldn't expect it because I've had my eye on him the whole time. So now I'm on the lookout for who may have ended up with my money.
And I mean, we could roll to see if you know that Galvian's an imposter, but if we don't, you pretty much think he's a noble. I'll just leave that up to you. No roll. Do you think he's a noble?
I would say that I haven't had enough interaction with human nobles. I feel like the most of an inkling I could get is if he acts the same as the rabble that I've mostly interacted with, then maybe I'd be a little suspicious, but I don't think so. I don't think I'd be suspicious.
And since I don't want to roll that, we'll say he's doing his job for the time being. We can maybe roll later to see if he can keep up the act. So.
And to be clear, I'm a noble who is, I'm a criminal who's pretending to be a noble, who's pretending to be a noble who likes to be on the outskirts, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're a fringe.
Sure. His like assumed identity meshes very well with Gjordrin, who's I know what this is like.
And don't forget, I'm very handsome.
Oh yeah,
yes,
incredibly handsome.
Yes,
indubitably.
That is it's incredibly important.
Although that depends. How well kept is your beard? Because honestly, I don't know that I see anything else about anyone.
I think I have a pretty well trimmed beard.
All right. That's something I can respect.
Once I killed the nobleman and I took his clothes, I made sure that I looked the part.
Okay.
So you respect a well-trimmed beard, or do you more respect a hefty,
good question,
a full unkempt down to your belly button beard?
Oh, I mean, certainly I respect that one more, but also like I like when humans know their place in the beard game. Because I'm a dwarf and I'm gonna have the best beard around, but like you're not gonna beat me for volume.
Yeah,
but like
for sure.
But you know, if you've at least done something with it, I can appreciate that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if he challenged you to a beard off, I mean, you would rolling 8 dice. Like, let's be real.
I mean, I don't even think there's any contest. I've got the bearded trait, and he does not.
Is your beard gray, or what color is it?
Whose beard? We're both young, right? I'm only 54. That's young in dwarf years.
Absolutely. So, what color is your beard? What's your hair?
Oh, I think it's brown with just sort of little weavings of red.
Auburn. I love Auburn. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of that. Beautiful. So Ted Smallsword playing the lute, like just beasting it. Drinking.
Probably doing a little juggling too.
You're probably on Gjordrin. You're on Galvian's tab, so to speak, and he's being, slightly gracious. He's saying like, watch it, bro, but yeah, I'll buy you a few.
Yeah, I'm being respectful. I get myself one tankard. I want to stay sober and sharp.
And part of my game is making sure that people are beholden to me. So this is helpful for me.
For sure.
Nice. You're kind of keeping a one in the pocket, like a you owe me, bro, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Not necessarily in a sinister way, but I'm going to use it.
For sure. So you guys drink, you have a good time. You eventually head to your quarters, as well as Ted Smallsword. You probably had, maybe a few. They give you one token for, a pint.
Yeah.
But you did get some bread, some things to rub together. So maybe you had a few more. Mr. Gawain, you gotta stay sober, bro. Unless you wanna go against the employment laws.
No, I'm sober.
Okay, so you're sober and you have to go about your tasks, man. They working you to the bone, bro. So, you're running maintenance, you're swabbing the deck, you're doing all this stuff, and it's nighttime. Sun goes down, y'all go to sleep, and, some of you arise with a headache, some not. You're up at the butt crack of dawn, Gawain, and you're back to your tasks. There is a vibrant, red sunrise, and, reflecting off, a bold smattering of clouds along the horizon. You still have in view the slowly disappearing land of Eldúr, yet it is becoming smaller and smaller and more obscured by the atmosphere. So it's faint, but you still see the outline of the land and the peaks of the nearby mountain range. Y'all get around to maybe grabbing some breakfast and having a good time. Time progresses, and then all of a sudden you hear the watchman atop the tower. The names escape me, but the top of the mast, there's a bucket.
Crow's nest.
And he screams, "Sails on the horizon!" And those of you indoors run outside and you stare at the horizon and you see a distant vessel approaching. And as it gets closer, you see sanguine sails and a sleek vessel with red spikes sticking out of the sides of the vessel. And as it gets closer, you start to see a black design upon these blood red sails, and it is a dark orc skull, and there are black spikes with red tips that are jutting their way through the eye holes of the skull in a diagonal cross X formation. You hear the gasps of those around you, and those of you who know what this is are appalled and worried. And the captain says, "Full tilt to port side!" And so you guys make a hard left and strive to get away from what those of you who are in the know as a orc pirate vessel. And as it grows closer, you see these wiry, gruff and evil looking orcs, just bobbing, kind of like a Ryu in Street Fighter. Just, they're on the edge of the vessel, just jonesing to fuck shit up. And you guys cannot outrun this thing, man. You guys are a massive cruise ship, and this thing has oars and sails, and it's just sleek, and it's cutting through the water. You hear a very loud order, Gawain, from your superior, and he says, man the oars! And so you get down to the deck where the oars are, and you're Ben Hurring it down there. You're just like, you're tugging and pulling, and you guys are trying to get away. And those of you on top deck are a little bit freaking out, but you criminal and you dwarf are thinking, okay, what needs to happen here? And the captain, is yelling orders, and saying, on the oars! Hoist all sails! And, ready the cannons! And you guys are prepping for what is about to be some danger. And that is where we will end today.